In this video, the 101 on emotional intelligence. We're going to cover historical development very quickly. We're going to look at what is emotional intelligence, the rationale for emotional intelligence, and finally, why should your organization care? So quickly with the historical development, in 1964, this is the first time that we see the term being used in an academic paper, but it's actually not until 1995 that the term becomes very popular, and in large part because of this book that came out in 95 by Daniel Goleman called Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. Now, just to understand some background here, IQ, or cognitive ability, is probably the most studied construct or idea or concept in psychology. Very, very well researched, and I would say that the research very much heads only one direction, and that direction is that it's an insanely important predictor of long-term outcomes in a number of areas. We won't get too much into the research of that, but Goleman is trying to make the argument here that actually, yes, IQ is important, and he doesn't deny this, but he says, I have this concept, I have this construct of emotional intelligence, and it's actually as important, if not more important. And it's especially important for leaders, he says. Now, we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail in a second. But first, what is emotional intelligence? Well, there's actually three different models or three different constructs. Goleman's model would now be looked at as a mixed model. And what he said is, when he looked at emotional intelligence, he says this is to do with self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. And we're going to look at the three models in one of the next videos to explain it. But what's the rationale then for this construct of emotional intelligence? Well, in 1998, he writes an article for the Harvard Business Review that is titled, What Makes a Leader? And what he says is, IQ is important, no doubt about that, and so are technical skills in a job. But if you want to be a great leader, what separates a good leader and a great leader is actually emotional intelligence. So yes, you need IQ, yes, you need technical skill, but what separates the good and the great leaders is emotional intelligence. So that's the argument that he makes with that. So why does it matter? Why does emotional intelligence, this idea, matter for your organization? Well, very simply, the claim is that employees that are high in emotional intelligence can produce many positive outcomes for an organization. Better leadership, improve job performance, and so forth. And we're going to look at, if this is true, how is it true? Why is it true? How can it actually help your organization?